It was just that he was so calm, and I don't know how he must have been feeling.
I'm sorry to remind you about this, but did he or you really believe that then that the sentence was going to be carried out?
Yes, I did, because my father had been preparing me for 2 years. He kept saying they were going to kill him, but nobody believed it. They were all taken in by the judicial facade. And he kept saying, but you don't understand. I have been deceived by General Zia-ul-Haq. I know the kind of man he is. I wouldn't have appointed him Chief of Army Staff if I had known. I know the kind of deception he weaves. I can see it. I can recognize it. And then about 3 weeks or 4 weeks before the assassination, I was in his death cell. I was saying, no, it's not going to happen. And he said, well, he smiled and he said, when have I ever been wrong? And he recounted to me each phase of the trial. And then I just burst out crying and I said, oh, and he said, don't be upset, at least I'll be free.
What was his last word? What was his last message to you?
His last words, where he said goodbye to us at the death cell, what I remember was, this is goodbye until the final meeting. And those were the last words he spoke to either my mother or myself.
How were you officially informed of his death? How did you learn of it?
By the radio. The next morning, the staff came in, they wanted to find out about food. Who could think of food at a time like that? We said, no food, you know, they must have assassinated chairman. And they broke down and started crying because we hadn't even told them about it. They went out and started crying and we waited and waited till it was announced on the radio.
And what happened then?
And then we just sat there. There was nothing to do but sit. That wasn't so bad. It was the waiting before, when you said 8 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours. You kept thinking, what is he doing? That was the horrible part. And at 2 o'clock, we couldn't bear it anymore. We didn't know they would assassinate him at 2. We'd been told 4:30. And we expected them to take us for the body because we made a request to that effect. So we said, let's go to bed. We need a couple of hours of sleep. Both my mother and I woke up. She woke up at 4:20, I woke up at 4:30. And we stayed up after that. But it wasn't so bad as before. The last hours, countdown. I never knew I'd be so involved in a countdown to life. And he was so brilliant. He had so much vision. He talked so beautifully. When he would talk, it would be like poetry. And I just couldn't believe that you can just snuffing out brilliance.